Hey guys! We make First of Us Function. We aim to make it a very precise action roguelike that is actually easy to get into. We always thought of combat as our main strength, and it is time to put gameplay behind that claim. There are two parts to this: improving the mechanics that already work well, and fixing or removing what is broken. In our playtesting sessions, we found out that killing enemies with a dash to refresh it is really fun. So we will do everything to juice that up. Also, bouncing enemies into each other is nice. So this also needs to feel great. But let's start addressing what is broken. Keeping track of whether a spell is ready is difficult. This seems to be a problem in a lot of games and we are not aware of any simple solution. We already tried to make the UI part of the game world, so the player has an easier time seeing it. But we try to go further by visualizing the connection between the spell and the player when it is ready. It does help track the cooldown and looks cool, but maybe it is too much clutter. We will keep experimenting. It might also be a good idea to make lines like these optional. If you guys have an idea, let us know in the comments.
There was another, bigger problem. Our gameplay was very committal, as the player only has 2 spells per round, which is 8 seconds long at the moment. We liked that the player had time to think about the spell placements, but without spells, the player was completely helpless. This made players very conservative with spell use. On one hand, we could make a very strategic game about this, but the constricting feeling just does not fit with the fast and bouncy pacing we went with. So we experimented with an auto attack. It is completely free and unlimited, but also slow and short-ranged. Still, it contributes valuable knockback and damage. It also allows players to use the other spells more offensively, which flows much better. In the final game, there could be a large number of different auto attacks, like a permanent short-range laser. We aim to start a player with just the auto hit for a bit. Over the course of a run, we will introduce the dash and 2 random spells, one after another. This should be a good way to ramp up the intensity of the game, while also making it easier to get into. However, we only ever tested the endgame scenario of a full spell set for now, so it was time to polish the gameplay before power escalation. A major step in this is to find core mechanics that are easy to understand, but offer a way to generate complexity. We decided that bouncing enemies into each other should be core in our game. It did some damage before, but it was barely noticeable. Now, when 2 enemies collide with force, a small shockwave is triggered. The size, damage and sound are based on the speed. Suddenly, it is worth aiming enemies towards one another. We also added the ability to interrupt casts. Whenever an enemy is casting, damage will immediately stop that. When playtesting, we found that this makes the combat much more interactive, and your stronger spells get to be valuable interruption tools. However, interrupting an enemy with every little bit of damage is too overpowered, and we strongly think about introducing a variable damage threshold that is shown as some kind of armor. And now to the part that is most fun to do: polish. First, we introduced a ton of new sounds, but there's still a lot to do. We increased the number of things that reacted to the beat, such as the background scrolling. Also, we added these animations for the bumpers. We now calculate the character animation speed to exactly fit the beat as well, which I did not think would make a huge difference, but it actually does. And we added little sparks to our fire effects, because that's cool.
We have been thinking a lot about the starting experience. At the moment, you choose a character and spawn on the spaceport. But we decided that we want a game to start out on a meadow or forest and transition to the space background later. However, for that we need a suitable forest background. Luckily, I just upgraded my drawing tablet from a Intuos Pen and Touch to a Huion Canvas 30. This one has a display. It's so much easier to paint with this. First, I drew some objects using a gouache brush. A tree, some mushrooms, a rock. However, I wanted to play around with a few styles before painting more. So I drew the big mushroom in a very abstracted style with sharp brushes. I think it looks cute and clean, and I could definitely imagine it in the game too. Finally, since I paint a lot with watercolors in real life, I painted the mushroom with a watercolor brush, which of course does not look like the real life medium, but still has this whimsical feeling to it. So here are the 3 styles, and now we have to decide which one to go for. We asked Twitter. It was not sure. We asked friends. They were not sure. We asked ourselves. We are not sure. So let us know your opinion.
Our 100 Days of Game Dev challenge is coming along nicely. We are over the halfway point. We post quite a lot of GIFs on Twitter, so follow us there if you are interested. Our game really starts to come together. We hope you like the way it develops and hope to see you in the next video. Bye!